for 24 hours looking at my screen. Come on. It's not that bad. All right. Oh, man, we got so much stuff to talk about. First of all, let me shed this. This is way too warm. I need you guys to see my man boobs. Okay. The Eric Zane Show podcast live stream is presented to you by my friends at Irvine's Auto Repair Grand Rapids Hybrid. Let me make sure I'm rolling here. I'm not. Let me do that again. The Eric Zane Show podcast. Can't even keep a straight face. The Eric Zane Show podcast is brought to you. The live stream. I can't get it right. The Eric Zane Show podcast live stream is brought to you by Irvine's Auto Repair Grand Rapids Hybrid. Fixing cars for more than 25 years. If you need to get your car repaired and you are in West Michigan, I am asking you to call upon them. All right? Their website is irvines.com. They repair all domestic, all Asian, all BMWs, all Minis. Are there more than one Minis? It's just a mini. And all Mercedes vehicles. Okay? If you have a Volkswagen or some Euro garbage or some German garbage or whatever it is, do not bring it. Do not bring it to Irvine's Auto Repair Grand Rapids Hybrid. Okay? They're along 44th Street, just off of 44th Street, I should say. Just east of 131. Side street is called Stafford. You can't miss it. Check them out online at irvines.com. All right?
And now, here's a guy who got tired of being fired by corporate radio. So he took up being fired by Patreon subscribers instead.
Damn it!
It's the Eric Zane Show podcast.
All right, Johnny, thank you so much. Welcome in to the show. What is the show about? Well, it's a daily show covering news, nonsense, and my personal adventures. That's what makes up the Eric Zane Show podcast. Still recovering after yesterday's debacle, where I sat in this room for 1 hour and thought, oh boy, I'm just killing it today. Just killing it. And then I happened to glance over at the email, which I rarely do, and I see that it never went live. There was some glitch in the matrix or whatnot. And that wrecked everything except for the audio podcast, of course. Thank God I record that. That would have been a bummer if I only did YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter and didn't actually record the audio, was dependent upon it cataloging it, and then I just did it 1 hour of podcast for the dogs. Holy shit. But all right. I double-checked. We're up and running. It's nice to have you here. If you are getting the show live, thank you. If you're listening to the on-demand audio, thank you. As always, Facebook is brought to you by Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid. On Twitter, the Blue Frost IT Twitter handle, at Eric Zane Show. You can also enjoy it there, too, Periscope video. And on YouTube, which I'll be naming the sponsor soon. I did sell it. Instagram, follow me there. I'm brought to you by the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage. We have Dear Meathead today. In about 50, look how handsome O'Neill is. In about 50 minutes, I'll be getting Dad on the phone, so get your questions into me, Eric at ericzaneshow.com. As always, if you could keep them short and sweet, don't make them too wordy. You know, it's sometimes it's a little tricky to get him to follow along and fill in the blanks, if you know what I mean. But, it could be about anything. You don't have to be cute. In fact, I prefer it if you don't try to make it an inside joke between the person who's between you, the writer, and me, and then he's not really aware. I used to do that, but it's just a little strange. If you could just ask him any question at all that maybe going on in your personal life, maybe you need some help with maybe a project you're working on, whatever it may be, send it along, eric@ericzaneshow.com. That will take place at around 9 o'clock. Now, the plan was today to get the podcast done, even with Dear Meathead, and then we had a very rare, never happened before edition, Wednesday edition, of Smarter Than a Former Drug Dealer Trivia. But shit has gone down, and I should probably reach out to Tyler. I hope he's watching this. And let him know that Dale has thrown his back out, and Dale cannot be in here for Smarter Than a Former Drug Dealer Trivia. He reached out to me this morning and said, man, I cannot do it. I am laid up. At 6 o'clock, I get a text message. Hey, man, call me as soon as you get this. Call him up. I'm laying in bed, and he's like, oh, the doctor told me I'm not supposed to do any type of things like bent over rows or any type of deadlifts. And sure enough, Dale did it, and he threw out his back. So he is in intense pain. He goes, not only am I out for today, I might be out for next week too, Zane. Might be out for next week. He is really messed up. I don't have any back issues. I have had occasionally. I've hurt myself, but it's just been and that's awful. When you can't move like that, back pain is the absolute. It seems to be like the worst thing that can happen to you. Back pain and tooth pain. So Dale is laid up. No go today for Smarter Than a Former Drug Dealer Trivia. I hope Tyler Kerr, who is supposed to play Dale, is watching, because I was so busy this morning I did not reach out to him to let him know. Maybe if I call him on Skype now, it'll work. Can you imagine? This is probably a bad idea. Let's see if I can get it to go. Occur. Okay, hang on. It's probably like, why are you calling me so early for? Let me be completely transparent with you. The idea with picking on the Jason guy from Stu's show, that was intended to be a maneuver by me to establish some silly, like, give and take between the shows. Like, the idea was I pick on them or him or whatever. They do it back, and then together, it's like a work in pro wrestling. Oldest trick in the book. And I'm sure most of you get that it's just being jerkish to be jerkish to ball busting. By no means designed to be real, okay? And so that was what was built up leading up to the most recent Stu McAllister podcast. Well, the dude, Jason, he, I guess, took it to heart and went off. I mean, like, off. Like, uh-oh, this is real. And ooh, boy. It was, it's over now. There's nothing fun about it. I talked to numerous people and said, yeah, I don't think he realized what was going on. And I go, yeah, I guess not. It sure didn't sound like it. So, oh boy, little awkward. Check it out on your own. I won't be talking about it anymore. In fact, I don't want to. Yeah, it was just strange. Very, very strange. So no Dale today. Dear Meathead a little later on. Top of mind on the open. These two things are walking hand in hand. Joe Biden, the primary day again, Tuesday. Michigan was a big prize with 125 delegates. This interaction he has with an auto worker is absolutely taking the world by storm. Let's start with this. First of all, Biden wins. And now a lot of people are like starting to like, uh-oh, Sanders is in deep, deep caca. most agree that the writing is on the wall, that Joe Biden is in the driver's seat now.
Look, Pat, look, here's the deal.
Coverage continuing right now. We're getting reaction from both Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders supporters.
Leon Hendricks is with the Sanders supporters in Grand Rapids, but first we want to go to Detroit. Heather Walker with the Biden team in the Motor City. Heather?
The crowd here cheering before Biden took the stage, speaking in Philadelphia tonight. Most of the people gathered here in Detroit at this bar just outside of the Eastern Market. They're union workers, they're iron workers in the hospitality field, and they tell me they're supporting Biden because they say he supports unions. And tonight, they listened to him speak. Here's what Biden
Real drag that Walker is doing this right in front of whoever is talking.
had to say about his win.
To all those who have been knocked down, to all those who have been counted out, left behind, this is your campaign. Just over a week ago, many of the pundits declared that this candidacy was dead. Now we're very much alive.
Get out! That speech happening just minutes ago. Michigan is a big win for Biden, so what it means for Sanders, we'll have to wait and see. Reporting live in Detroit, Heather Walker, News 8.
That's terrible.
All right, Heather, thank you for that.
What an awful report that was. I mean, seriously, she's standing right in front of, I mean, it's probably him talking, but it just sounds like shit. What a terrible, distracting thing that was.
To this side of the state, and Leon Hendricks is with the Sanders supporters in Grand Rapids.
Brian, good evening to you. This is what democracy looks like, and sometimes it spells upset. That was the case for Bernie Sanders supporters today. Dozens of them gathered at a Northeast Side bar here in Grand Rapids. We'll take you inside to show you that gathering. They were hopeful toward the beginning of the evening, but that quickly waned as they watched blow after blow come to their candidates' hopes for becoming the Democratic nominee. By the end of the evening, some of them were brought to tears.
Okay.
It's a very hard day. I'm 68 years old, and I've been doing this for a long time.
Okay, now this lady who's crying, boy, she's way involved, and she's it's almost like she's got a real kindred spirit with Senator Sanders. It's almost like, you know, I don't know, maybe she spoke to him in the last couple of weeks or something like that. You guessed it. Remember that clip I played where Senator Sanders made a phone call? And there was a lady that Senator Sanders spoke to? That's the lady. That's her. Holy shit. I'm waiting for her to say, you know, he just called me the other day, and I spoke with him, so I just love him. I'm attracted to him.
And I'm just sick of it. I'm just sick of it.
She's crying.
I had all my hopes here. And I love Bernie Sanders, and all those people in there do too. This is all orchestrated by somebody.
What?
You sound like a goddamn pussy to me. Cool story, horrible bitch.
And that last thing she said there has got to be a big campaign.
The fuck is she talking about? This is orchestrated. What?
A big concern for the Joe Biden campaign. Should he?
Of course, that had something to do, I'm sure, that was steeped in what the Democratic Party did to Sanders in the last election. So maybe she's onto something.
Indeed become the Democratic nominee. Will they be able to garner the support of those who are following Bernie Sanders, support that they will need as they move forward? Or will those supporters fall out of the process or even go for President Trump? Some of those situations, like we saw happen in 2016. All of that remains to be seen. We are reporting live in Northeast Grand Rapids. Leon Hendricks, News 8.
So I guess that's the $1 million question. If you're a supporter of Sanders, you know, he has made a living trying to establish that a guy like Joe Biden is bought and paid for by billionaires, and that he's not really concerned with the working man. And frankly, I don't know I am a little surprised at how quickly this has turned. It was just over a week ago. Biden was dead in the water, and Sanders was just blowing up. And now here we go with a guy who is, Sanders has made no bones about it, how he wants to run the country. He wants to run it in a certain way where everybody pays more, and but then that wealth is then distributed to make it so that you have the things that he thinks are essential. I give him credit for having his ducks in a row and how he wants to run it, and for sticking to his guns. But this turnaround is a little strange. I honestly, I'm curious as to how it turned against him so suddenly. And you heard the lady there. She's spoken to Senator Sanders herself. She believes that none of this is on the up and up. So if you're a working class citizen in the great state of Michigan, you have the opportunity to talk to Joe Biden, okay? And this actually happened at one of the plants in Detroit. You got these dudes from the United Auto Workers. You saw working class dudes, blue collar, manufacturing. And this guy is like a Democratic a working man who's talking to Biden. And he's got his question written out, and he's reading it while he's shooting video, while others are shooting video of the interaction. People are lined up all around them as Biden is walking through the plant. Dude has a question about guns. He loves guns. And he thinks that based on what Joe Biden has said in the past, that slowly some of the gun rights are going to be eroded if he gets into office. So this is a conflict for this guy because, yeah, he wants to vote for him because of the support that Biden has for unions, but is conflicted because of the gun control thing. So he brings that question up to Biden in a thoughtful manner. And Biden responds, not well. Listen to this exchange. This thing was dominating the news yesterday. It's not so much now because people are pussies and they won't play it and they have to bleep it out. But Biden, my God, there's a lot to this.
These union workers that have been working countless hours under the Trump administration, I'd like you to explain how you plan to not only keep us working, but how you intend on getting the union vote when there is a large portion of the union workers that are gun enthusiasts, and you are actively trying to diminish our Second Amendment right and take away our guns.
You're full of shit.
All right, thank you.
No, shush. Shush. I support the Second Amendment. Second Amendment, just like right now, if you yell fire, that's not free speech. And from the very beginning, I have a shotgun, I have a 20 gauge, a 12 gauge, my sons hunt. Guess what? You're not allowed to own any weapon. I'm not taking your gun away at all. You need 100 rounds.
So when you were in Beto, when you said you're going to take our guns,
I did not say that. That's not true. I did not say that.
It's a viral video.
It's a viral video like the other ones they're putting out that are simply a lie.
Your voice, you said that you're taking the guns.
Well, he just clarified it. Wait. Take the AR-14s.
Okay, this is not okay.
Hold on.
All right.
Hey, let's
don't tell me anything, pal. I want to go outside.
There's a lot of guys.
Hey, you're working for me, man.
I'm not working.
Hold on.
Give me a break, man.
Don't be such a horse. You're pushing up on me.
Hey, there's a lot of
Hey. Look, here's the deal. Here's the deal. Are you able to own a machine gun? I said, are you able to own one?
Machine guns are illegal.
That's right. So AR-15's illegal.
How is that in the machine gun?
No, it's not.
Semi-automatic.
Yeah, do you need 100 rounds? Do you need 100 rounds?
In America from handguns, and there are what you call assault rifles. Why are you advocating for assault rifles when people are dying by handguns?
No.
And then he walks away. That final question, why are you advocating for banning assault weapons when people are dying by a handgun? Now, there's a lot to talk about here, and I'm going to go over it bit by bit. Let's start from the top. He opens up with...
You're full of shit.
Now, let me just say that if it comes to... I mean, I love it when a person who's either running for president or is the president looks someone in the face and says you're full of shit.
You're full of shit.
That gives me drops
You're full of shit.
on this show.
You're full of shit.
I'm establishing a catalog of Biden drops.
You're full of shit.
Look, fat, look, here's the deal, and
You're full of shit.
all works in Eric's world. Then Lady Staffer says, okay, to like stop this train. And he looks at her and goes, shush, which I was like, oh, fuck, man. Shit. Biden first tells one dude he's full of shit.
You're full of shit.
And then he looks at his lady who works with him and says, shush. Oh, okay, good luck with that. And then he kind of gets off the rails when he says, well, you know what? I'll tell you what. I'm going to play it again, and then I'll pause with each thing that I wrote down because I wrote a lot down here on this.
These union workers that have been working countless hours under the Trump administration, I'd like you to explain how you plan to not only keep us working, but how you intend on getting the union vote when there's a large portion of the union workers that are gun enthusiasts, and you are actively trying to diminish our Second Amendment right and take away our guns.
You're full of shit.
All right, thank you.
No, shush. Shush.
Oh,
I support the Second Amendment. Second Amendment, just like right now, if you yell fire, that's not free speech. And from the very beginning, I have a shotgun, I have a 20 gauge, a 12 gauge, my sons hunt. Guess what? You're not allowed to own any weapon.
yeah, I wrote that down. Why did he just say, we have guns, you're not allowed to own any weapon? Is that whole cognitive thing that they keep saying about him? It's like it didn't make sense when he said, you're not allowed to own any weapon. I didn't quite. All right.
I'm not taking your gun away at all. You need 100 rounds.
So when you were in Beto, when you said you're going to take our guns, that
I
means
did
what?
not say that.
The dude is referring to something that Biden apparently said. I didn't see it. I don't know. This guy believes it. That led him, that he had said in I guess, the presence of Beto O'Rourke, I guess.
I did not say that.
It's a viral video.
It's a viral video like the other ones they're putting out there. It's
It was
simply a lie.
your voice. You said that you're taking the guns.
Well, he just clarified it. Wait.
Guy off camera says, well, he just clarified it. So, all right, great.
Wait. Take your AR-14s.
Okay,
The gun is not called an AR-14. It's an AR-15, and this is where he really gets in the weeds, Biden does, because I think he's thinking here, Biden, at least he alludes to that the AR-15 is illegal or should be illegal, and that is a semi-automatic rifle, okay?
It's not okay.
Hold on.
All right.
Hey, let's
Don't tell me
there's a lot of guys wanted.
man.
I'm not worried.
Okay, now what happened there was Biden was in his face, and the guy said, this is not okay. And he was referring to how close he was getting to his face. And then Biden said, well, then let's take this outside. Okay, now where I'm from, if you tell someone, hey, man, you want to go outside? You're challenging them to a fight. Did the President of the United States just challenge this guy to a fist fight? If he did, that's awesome.
You're full of shit.
I would assume after he told the guy he's full of shit that he is challenging him to a fight. Let's go outside. Okay? Then the guy says, hey, look, man, you're working for me, implying that he's trying to win his vote, or if I'm gonna give you my vote, you are working for, and that I guess is true, but Biden does not like that at all, and he says, I'm not working for you, so
That you're taking the gun.
Well, he just clarified it. Wait. Take your AR-14s.
Okay, this is not okay.
Hold on.
All right.
Hey, let's
Don't tell me this, pal. I want to go outside.
There's a lot of guys.
Hey, you're
wanted.
man.
I'm not worried.
Hold on. So much.
Give me a break, man.
You're
Don't be such a
pushing
horse's
up
ass.
on me.
then Biden calls the guy a horse's ass. He goes, don't be such a horse's ass.
Hey, there's a lot of
Hey.
Speak to Joe.
Look, here's the deal.
Go.
Here's the deal. Are you able to own a machine gun? I said, are you able to own one? I'm the law.
Are you able to own a machine gun?
That's right. So AR-15's illegal.
There he said it. He just said, are you able to own a machine gun? I don't own a machine gun. No, can you own one? No, I can't own a machine gun. That's right. AR-15s are illegal. I think this fucking guy is somehow taking a rifle, bang, 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 bang. Hell, Dave Warner from Next Level Arms, he was on this show. He makes AR-15s 2.5 miles away from here. He employs dozens of people. I think Joe Biden thinks an AR-15 is a fucking machine gun. I'm not positive because there's a lot going on here, but if that's the case, he's fucking wrong.
I said, are you able to own one? Under the law.
Machine guns are illegal.
That's right. So AR-15's illegal.
How is that a machine gun?
No, it's not.
The guy goes, how is that a machine gun?
Yeah, do you need 100 rounds? Do you need 100 rounds?
In America from handguns and there are what you call assault rifles. Why are you advocating for assault rifles when people are dying by handguns?
All right. Why are you advocating for... Oh, God, this is fucking stupid. Oh, God. But the bottom line is he looked at the guy stone in the face and said...
You're full of shit.
Okay. Fantastic. Now, I'm curious as to how this is going to play out because this blew up quickly. It happened right in our great state of Michigan. Dave Warner, who I just mentioned, owner of Next Level Arms, he reaches out to me. He says, did you see this deal? I go, yeah. And he goes, well, I'm going to get the guy. I'm going to get a hold of this guy. And I'm like, you are? And he goes, I'm working on this. And I go, yeah, what are you going to do? Because I'm going to give him an AR-15. I go, that's a good idea. I mean, strike while the iron's hot. And he goes, do you want to talk to the guy? I go, you mean the dude that the president or Vice President Biden just told him he's full of shit? He goes, yeah. I go, yeah. What? He goes, yeah. He's coming here. Dude who thought up that question to ask Joe Biden. I go, he is? Yeah, he's coming here. Do you want to talk to him? I go, well, fuck yes, I want to talk to a guy who just looked at the guy who might be the president of the United States, and the guy told him,
you're full of shit.
Yes, I want to talk to him. So I go, well, how's this going to work? And he goes, well, can we drop by? I go, you and dude? Yeah, of course you can drop by. Just come let me know what's up. So, honestly, I'm probably giving it a 15% chance. I'll believe when I see it because the guy's got to drive all the way over here, and he's probably being inundated with media requests now. This guy's going to be like, you remember Joe Sixpack or Joe Lunchpail or whatever his name was? There's always citizens who become stars. This guy is going to become a star, okay, because of the dialogue between him and Joe Biden. Apparently, he's on Fox News today, so as you would expect. But I want to talk to a guy who just went toe-to-toe with a presidential candidate who might be the leader of the free world. I really think Biden is confused on the issue, though, don't you? I mean, you heard it. I mean, he made it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he has the knowledge to engage in this discussion unless he knows full well. Unless he bones up on that because he made it seem like the AR-15, it being illegal or maybe he's going to make it illegal. You don't need an AR-15. Well, all right. Well, he wants to own an AR-15. And what you get a lot of times with people who support gun rights in an active role, I'm not like an active participant in the process. Sure, I've got a gun. Sure, I carry a gun. But I'm not like this guy. What a lot of the time people who are like this guy and of this persuasion, the idea that gun rights are slowly eroding. First it's this, then it's that, and then it's a little bit more. And over time, the guns are then taken out of our hands. So, yes, I support that guy. And him having the nerve to go up to him and say that. And so 100% I support the Second Amendment. But, boy, that was just spectacular. Holy crap. Okay. It was just about time for it to happen, and I have firmly planted my flag in the anti-corona hype. Yes, I'll talk about it, but yes, I want you to know that it is, I still believe it is all a man-made hype machine that is going on right now, okay? Michigan does have people that are infected. It finally happened. Yesterday, the news was reported that on the east side of the state, 2 people, their tests came back positive. By the way, it takes way too long for this to be found out. You know, I mean, with the fact that you have to have like a swab taken and then it gets sent to a lab and it takes forever. There were 88 potential cases in the state of Michigan. 50-something of them came back negative. 2 came back positive. There are roughly 20, maybe a little less than that, still out that may come back positive. You don't know. But that's what we're dealing with here. So those people are obviously they're what they then do is once they determine that, they try to find out who they've been in contact with to maybe get those people tested and whatnot. Now, that's the known cases, and that's the known people who've been tested. This number is probably a lot higher, and there are probably many poor people who do have it right now and have had it. My point in all of this is the level of hysteria is not appropriate. Yes, I think that it's important that you take precautions, but I think during this time of year, you should always take precautions. You should always wash your hands. But the reason why we don't really think about the flu is because the flu is not a sexy news story. That's the story here. The story that 20,000 plus Americans every year, and more than 20,000 as of this flu season, are dead. Okay? That's the story. But yet, all we are concerned about is this map and hot spots and, 1,000 people confirmed cases in the United States. Not the fact that 34 million Americans have gotten the flu this flu season alone. No, it's this stupid hysteria that is kind of like just taking over the world. So, all right, it's remarkable when you hear about it that they're considering canceling all these different events, March Madness, gatherings in public places for something that is 1% more deadly. 1%. We talked about this on the Patreon yesterday, that you have a 1.7% chance of dying from coronavirus if you get it. Flu, about 0.7. That is not a reason to have all of this hysteria. It's just not a reason. I've got more on that I want to get to, including how coronavirus being top of mind embarrassed the shit out of me yesterday. Okay? But before we get to that, a mention for my friends at Blue Frost IT. Online at bluefrostit.com. Their phone number is 616-200-8550. Didn't feel right when I started that phone number. That was Martinez's phone number. 616-200-8550. All right. They are working for small and medium-sized businesses to make sure that you are all set, ready to go for your IT needs. All right. Blue Frost IT, they are the number one IT specialist for small and medium-sized businesses in West Michigan. If the IT setup in your business goes south, okay, that means productivity is way down. No one is working because your computers are screwed up. You need to be on a monthly maintenance plan with Blue Frost IT. Call them and please mention my name. A lot of this talk about public health brings to mind the Kent County Health Department, and their initiative this month is National Nutrition Month. They want to make sure that folks are have the proper nutrition. A lot of the times we're talking about underprivileged people that are trying to dig out of a hole, and sometimes they can't even afford food. Thus, the WIC program is there for those people. If you know someone who might fit this description, they need to get in touch with the Kent County Health Department and see if they can qualify for this initiative that can make their life a lot easier with food provided for them at little or no cost. Enough for a month, okay? That's what the WIC program is, women, infant, children. A lot of times when it's women, it's like single mothers, that's what I'm referring to, or pregnant mothers, vulnerable people thrown into a scenario that makes it so that they might not be able to afford food. Infants, children, of course, we want them all taken care of. That's what the Kent County Health Department does. Reach out to them. There's a spot on my website. Click on their logo. It'll take you right to their page with more information about the WIC program. Thank you to them. What did I write there? Oh, all right, yeah. Again, it's not that I can't see it. It's that when I write the notes down, the outline of the show, I can't read my writing. Make no mistake, my vision is failing. But, my God. Hold on a second. Before we get to this, I want to check the email here. See if anybody's getting on board with Dear Media. That's always very critical. I see a person with a great name of... I'm not gonna. I looked ahead to make sure that they wanted to be anonymous, and I almost said this person's name, but I'm learning. I have an anonymous email from someone. Boring Dean is there. If you have any questions for my dad for Dear Meathead, send them along. Eric@ericzaneshow.com. So yesterday I had a great time as I got a visit from some really, really hilarious, fun people. And they were Adam Deggy, Matt Loria, and Joe Bachheim. These guys have been friends for a while. In fact, Loria and Bachheim grew up together and went to high school together. Bachheim is the lead singer for the band The Legal Immigrants. And Deggy and Loria are stand-up comics. And they're part of Laugh Fest. And they've got a great event. The Homegrown Jam happens Friday at the intersection. So I had them in here to talk about the show. Now, I'm getting down to like about 10, 20 minutes before they get to the house, and I realize I don't have any water. Like bottled water. You got to have bottled water. So I headed out down the street to get some. And by the way, would somebody build a gas station over here in my neck of the woods? I shouldn't have to drive that freaking far to get to a gas station, for God's sake. Man. Right on that corner, right with, what is it, 36th Street? 36th and Baldwin. Would you put something there, for God's sake, right by Licari's? Jesus. Had to go all the way into Jenison, and I go into the mobile station. I need a case of water. Oh, here you go, sir. This dude there, young guy at the counter. Now, I told you this story was how coronavirus embarrassed me. This is how it embarrassed me. I bring the case of water to the counter, and the guy rings it up. And while I'm putting my card into the thing, I see him touch his face. And so I think he's like wiping his nose because he kind of goes like that. But that isn't what he was doing. But I thought he was like rubbing his nose going. So I thought maybe he had like a cold. So I decided it's a great time to bust out a coronavirus joke. Huh? So I said, huh? Corona? Assuming he'd get the reference. No, he didn't. This is why I'm not a comic, okay? He goes, Corona? It's behind me in the cooler. And I'm like, oh. Now, I should have just said, oh, yeah. Actually, second thought, I'm good. I don't want any. But no. I said, no. I mean, you got coronavirus? You know, it's going around.
You're full of shit.
And now I'm thinking he's going to get the joke and go, no, I'm just standing here. Just touch my nose. No big deal. But he goes, no, sir. I have eczema. Oh, God. It's on my face. and it itches and then he's like starts to give me his history, his medical history, and I'm like, oh fuck, man, here we go. Shit. You see these marks? Well, when the sun comes out, it affects my face, and it's a sunny day today. And I'm like, oh no, please just kill me now. What is happening here? Of course this is happening to me. If I'm speaking, something awkward is happening. That's what I'm learning. All I have to do is talk, and something stupid will take place. That happened. I felt, and I go, oh, Jesus. And I actually said, I'm really sorry. Sorry about that. I'll take my water and leave. And then I wanted the receipt because it's a business expense for the podcast. I write it off at the end of the year. And he crumples up he doesn't ask me if I want the receipt. He crumples it up, and I'm like, should I ask him? I go, no, just get the fuck out of here. Just get out. Walk away. That was terrible. Somebody sent me this one. Clay Travis tweeted it out, and I forget which one of you sent it, but thank you. I appreciate it. It also has to do with coronavirus. It is a news story from Memphis, Tennessee. What you got here is a local news story where the local news is putting cameras in everybody's faces to get their take as they're picking their kids up from school. They found out during the school day that one of the people that works at the school was in the presence of someone who had coronavirus or something like that. So this story centers around the people that are picking up their kids. And they're all intensely stupid, every single one of these people. You'll hear from a couple of them. There's one thing you don't have a comment about, but they're showing a guy who gets out of his car to pick up his son. And, excuse me, the dad has a bottle full of bleach water, and he's squirting his kid down, like spraying him down. Like if you had a bottle of Windex and you were spraying your someone you love down, you see the guy spraying the kid down, and the kid's like, oh, fuck, Dad, this is embarrassing. He goes, I don't give a shit. Get your ass in the car. At the end, there's another lady that I'll discuss at the end of this, but this other lady who you'll hear from two women who steal the show. You kind of need a Memphis to English dictionary to understand what these people are saying. It's awful.
And don't nobody want their child to be sick, and don't nobody want to take that virus to their house.
Parents with children at Treadwell Middle.
Okay. I looked this up in my Memphis to English. Don't nobody. Wait a minute. Hold on.
And don't nobody want their child to be sick. And
don't nobody want their child to be sick. Don't nobody want them to take the virus to their house.
And don't nobody want their child to be sick. And don't nobody want to take that virus to their house.
Parents with children at Treadwell Middle and elementary schools are not playing around. I
speak a little Memphis.
Wiped their kids down, and some even sprayed them with disinfectant spray as they took them home Monday.
I wiped my children's backpack down when I got them out of school. Sure did. Gave them gloves. Sure did.
Parents are doing this after they found out.
I wiped my children's backpack down when I got them out of school. Sure did. Gave them gloves. Sure did.
This is another language. That's what we're discovering. We have a new sub-language in English.
And don't nobody want their child to be sick. And don't nobody want to take that virus to their house. I wiped my children's backpack down when I got them out of school. Sure did. Gave them gloves. Sure did.
This is fantastic. If I was in the presence of this lady, I would just want her to talk so I could just watch it all unfold like this. This is absolutely awesome.
I wiped my children's backpack down when I got them out of school. Sure did. Gave them gloves. Sure did.
It's the ease at which she throws "sure did" into the dialogue that it's happening. It's absolutely incredible.
I wiped my children's backpack down when I got them out of school. Sure did. Gave them gloves. Sure did.
I love it. Oh.
And don't nobody want their child to be sick. And don't nobody want to take.
The ability to say "don't nobody want" and "sure did" is second to none.
And don't nobody want their child to be sick. And don't nobody want to take that virus to their house.
Love it.
An employee who works at Treadwell Middle and Elementary came in contact with a person who tested positive for the coronavirus in Memphis. Some took more extreme measures.
2 garbage bags. My shoes and came loose.
Okay, now this lady is a little older. She is picking up a child from school. She has a Gorton's fisherman raincoat on. Numerous, that when you go to the store, you get a plastic bag. You can do paper or plastic. These are plastic. And she has them over her head and taped onto her face. And there's opening for the eyes. And she has bags on her shoes and like snow pants on. It is spectacular. Out of all the things that you're going to see today, or that you should see this video. And I will link it up in the show notes of the audio podcast. And it will be, after I wrap this show up later on this morning, in the news portion of ericzaneshow.com. I swear on a stack of Bibles, I will get this one available for you to see.
2 garbage bags. My shoes and came loose. 2 sacks. Another sack.
Leaders with the Shelby County Health Department say this is not necessary.
I wish I lived there.
Because it's a very low-risk situation for students. Still, family members tell me they don't want their kids in school.
It's messed up. The flu killing more folks than they live, so what's up? We're going to die anyway.
Something about we gonna die anyway. I think she threw in a mofo and they let it slide, but didn't know she was saying it.
Flu killing more folks than they live, so what's up? We're going to die anyway.
Something about we gonna die anyway.
The flu killing more folks than they live, so what's up? We're going to die anyway. I wiped my children backpack down when I got them out of school. Sure did. Gave them gloves. Sure did. And don't nobody want their child to be sick. And don't nobody want to take that virus to their house.
You're full of shit.
All right. I see we got another email for Dad. Send them along. We'll get him on in moments. 6 or 7 minutes. For Dear Meathead. Thank you to the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage. I want you to give Mario a call if you're in the market for a mortgage. That number is 231-332-6505. Don't give your money to some scuzzy landlord. Would you at least just call him and say, hey, Zane told me to call you. I don't think I can get a mortgage, but what can you do for me? Now, this isn't going to cost you anything other than the time it takes you to make the phone call. At the very least, it's still nice to talk to Mario because he's awesome. He keeps his podcast afloat. Again, if you want to talk to Mario, 231-332-6505. You got to get the mortgage before you get before you even look at the house. You don't want to get invested in liking this house and your wife or your significant other loves the house, and then you're like, oh shit, we can't get the mortgage for this one. Okay, so get the mortgage first. Mario's team is awesome. He's got a bunch of professionals that works with him, and he is, of course, the leader of the pack in that group. The Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage. Call them, 231-332-6505. All right. What do you call it? The dates are being planned now. We have, of course, people that are reaching out to me finally about Paintball War number 8, the Spring Break Offensive, which happens in just under a month. Thursday, April 9th, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Set up for you and your kids as they're off for spring break. Looking at you, Mike Ball. I want to see that lovely family of yours. 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., the Spring Break Offensive at TC Paintball. Online at tcpaintball.com and reach out to them if you want to schedule your own group outing. This year, you're playing outdoors, okay? You could be playing outdoors. I'm sorry, Craig Danitz just made me laugh. He's a longtime listener who just sent an email that says, by your description of this lady.
I wiped my children backpack down when I got them out of school. Sure did. Gave them gloves. Sure did.
I think he means by the description of the lady with the bags on her feet. That she looks like Dumb Donald's mom from the show Fat Albert. Holy fuck. And he sent an image, too. I got to look at it. Jesus. You're killing me, man. I love that show. Oh, I rarely bust up laughing on this show, and I don't know if you do. You might not. I have no idea, but that made me actually laugh. Frankly, there isn't a lot in the world that does make me laugh. I don't laugh at a lot of shit. I sure as hell don't laugh. Whenever I watch a comic, I always talk about this, so I'd always just kind of stare at him. I like the show, I just don't laugh. Fucking weird. All right, where was I? TC Paintball, they are the best in the business. Hell, they're the only game in town as far as I'm concerned. They're the only place that I want you to call for paintball. TCPaintball.com in West Michigan. God, that got me, Craig. Well done. It isn't often that I can interact with you in real time, that I actually have the email open. And probably something I should do more often. It makes more sense, you know. Dad comes up in just a second here. I'm going to give him a call in just a second. In fact, I'm not going to get into another story because I don't have the time. I always tell him I'm going to call him at 9. So, but we still have plenty to talk about. I want to read to you an email that a friend of mine sent me who works in investments. Some of you are freaking out because the market is up and down. And truth be told, 2 days ago when it went in the shitter by 2,000 points, you know what had a lot more to do with it was this price war on the oil market than it did coronavirus. Coronavirus is, people are like, it's not that big of a deal anymore. And then yesterday it rebounded almost 1,200 points, so it's up and down. Now, if you do sock some money away, and you should, even if it's only $50 a month, honestly, being at this day and age, I legit, it's $55 a month is what I put in. A month. You can do that. You should do that because your money is going to earn money. Okay, you need to throw it at into your Roth IRA, individual retirement account. Your 401k is not enough. You need to be putting your own money away. So I have this guy who reaches out to me, and he is in charge of that. And he sent me an email that I want to read to you because if you're like some of these people, the big money people, they had been selling off their investments, which was causing the market to go down. But his email makes so much sense, and I want to read it to you coming up in just a second. And I have to update you on Corey Feldman. I talked about this Monday, but I didn't really get into it yesterday at all. I did a little bit on the Patreon. But we need to talk about, because the story is kind of hasn't really been touched on, as to who he said raped him and Corey Haim. Not really a surprise that he would say it. It had been hinted at before, but I want to get to that coming up in just a bit.
Good morning, Mr. America.
Hi, Dad.
How you doing, son?
Never better. Doing okay. Just
good.
Just click
Man,
it.
you are happy today.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's always a good day. It's always a good day.
Yes. Thank you, Jesus.
Okay, Dad. Now I want to start off. First of all, hello to Joanne. How are you? Okay. It's so good to hear your voice. And now Sunday has turned into quite a development. We have a big plan on Sunday to come and see you.
Yeah.
Okay. It's now that is actually March 15th, which is 2 days before your birthday. Your actual birthday. Oh,
man, you guys are making a big deal out of it. But I appreciate that. Thank you.
Now, is this going to be 86? Is that right, Dad?
Yes.
Wow. All right. So 86.
Can you believe that? I made it to age 86.
No, it doesn't surprise me. You know, I know that on your side of the family, people usually live a long time, and that's exciting. I love to hear that.
Thank you. Maybe it'll pass on to you guys.
I'm hoping. I'm trying to do my part, you know.
God says yes, it'll happen.
Because I know I've lived healthier than you have, and
yes, you have.
And so, I'm hoping that whatever you hit, I can add 10 years onto it.
There you go. There you go. And he'll respond to you.
When you smoked, how much did you smoke?
Pack a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, that was back in the day when you were at work and you would be indoors wearing a plaid jacket selling insurance, and you could just light up right there at the desk.
Yeah, and then it was permissible, you know.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, nowadays, people don't even smoke in their homes, it seems like.
Oh, my God, no way. I don't know. I don't hear of anyone. In fact, I have not seen anybody smoking.
You know what's crazy? I remember one time after you and Mom split up, you were living on that place called Metro Towers on Crocker. Remember that?
Yeah.
And you had, years before, you had endured that heart attack.
Yes.
And you had quit smoking. And I'll never, ever forget, there was one time we were poolside. And you remember that group of people that you hung out with? Al and Gary?
I do remember that.
Yeah, I remember Al and Gary, those guys that were big into cocaine. My God. And then Al, one of those dudes lit up a smoke, and I watched you light one up from like on the other side of the pool, and I was so bummed out. I remember walking up to you, and I remember saying, "Dad, put it out or I'm going to kill you." I was only like 10 years old.
Oh, my God. I remember that.
Yeah.
My legs were in the water, sitting on the edge of the pool.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That Gary was the guy that kind of... Yeah, but you never smoked that stuff. But I never
No.
smoked
It was a cigarette. It was a cigarette. No, I know you weren't into cocaine, but those guys were. I know that for a fact.
Oh, those guys are heavy in the crap, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You were hanging out with a rough crowd for a while. Well, that was the 80s, though.
No, I really thank God I never got into that stuff.
No, that's a good thing, you know? I mean, because those guys are probably dead right now.
I don't know what the hell they are.
Yeah. All right, Dad. Well, we've got a lot of people that want to reach out to you, and they've sent their questions along to my email. And if they have any other questions, they can still send them to eric@ericzaneshow.com. But I want to ask you to start off. Yesterday was a big day for Joe Biden. Did you see that?
Yes, I did. I, in fact, saw some more of it this morning.
So it looks like Sanders is in deep, deep trouble. And that's crazy because a week and a half ago, that guy was in the driver's seat.
I just don't have too much faith in him.
Yeah, I know, but he was still doing very well, and now it seems like it's all out the window.
Yeah. Michigan gave it pretty good jolt in here.
Did you see the video of Joe Biden telling the auto worker that he's full of SHIT?
No, I did not see that.
Yeah, it's going around. If you, he was talking to an auto worker. I don't want to really get into it if you didn't see it, but the auto worker basically was like calling him out for gun control. And what do you call it? Biden made it seem like dude was putting words in his mouth and actually said, "You're full of SHIT." He said it to the guy.
I didn't hear that. Oh, my God.
It was spectacular.
That's not very becoming of a political man like that.
No, but, honestly, I thought it was he was way off base in his Biden was in his point of view. But it was kind of fun to watch him look at that guy dead in the face. And then it seemed like he challenged him to a fight because the guy said, "You're getting in my face." And then Biden said, "You want to step outside?"
Oh, my God. No, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, it's great. I'll show it to you when I see you if you don't see it by Sunday.
Yeah, all right. No, I won't see it probably.
All right. I've got a question from a person who wants to remain anonymous. It isn't from the person that we've heard from in the past. This is a new anonymous person. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. This person writes, "Dear Meathead, my girlfriend and I have been dating for 2 years. Before we made things official on dating, we did a lot of talking back and forth. At that time, I informed her that I had a vasectomy and I could no longer have kids. Now, apparently," he writes, "that was fine at the time, but 2 years into us being boyfriend and girlfriend, and after we moved in together, she's decided she would like kids. Well, for me to have the vasectomy reversed, it's $6,000 to $8,000. She's talked about that or other means to have a child. What are your thoughts on this? I mean, she knew that I couldn't have kids before we started dating, yet she continued on the relationship. but she has changed her mind. What is your insight on this, Meathead?
Well, it's really a difficult task for the couple. One wants it, one didn't want it one time or other. However, yes, that's an expensive proposition, and it really is a ridiculous thing to reverse this whole situation. However, I think the only solution that I can see to that is they both agree to adopt a child.
That's a good option. I think so, because, it doesn't necessarily say that he doesn't want kids. He just can't have kids, you know?
Right.
Now,
and I really don't understand what the feeling of a woman is that cannot and will not bear a child because of a husband's situation. Whether it's a desire for a woman to be pregnant and have a child, I don't know. I can't really comment on that.
Well,
it's an individual type of thing.
Well,
so the only solution is to both agree to adopt a child.
Okay, now adoption sometimes has a lot of expense in it, and wouldn't that?
Of course.
And that might work out to the same amount of expense to getting like the vasectomy reversed. If it's a wash, should he attempt it?
I wouldn't do that.
No,
I would not do that. I don't recommend that. That's a ridiculous thing to go ahead and reverse it just to please a spouse. Whereas you can have so many beautiful children out there ready to be adopted, good kids, good health, and then you're doing a beautiful thing, taking that child out of a situation that God knows where it's going to lead by being in a foster home.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that one. I think I agree with you. Hopefully,
that's my decision as far as that goes.
All right, well done. Okay, how about this one? Solomon writes, Dear Meathead.
Is it Sullivan or Solomon?
Solomon with an S.
Okay.
Dear Meathead, someone swore at my wife, used the F word, and it really upset me. They were a stranger to us, and we were trying to buy something from them. I froze and didn't do anything. If someone said the F word to Joanne, how would you handle it, Meathead?
I think to consider the source is the best thing to go ahead. The guy is a lowlife or has been swearing all his life that is part of his makeup. You cannot change his whole language scenario. Forget it. Let your wife decide what she wants to do with it, because he did not swear to you at you. And hey, it's a format that some people are low life that they will never get rid of it.
But would you defend Joanne, or would you only defend if he swore at you? Would you like, Joanne, you're on your own?
It's well, not unfortunate, but fortunately, my wife can defend herself very well.
Okay. All right.
If other person's wife is not a type, you should not jump in there and let do your wife's dirty situation.
All right. So Joanne, are you comfortable with that, doing your own dirty situation?
Did you hear that, Joanne?
My dirty situation.
Yeah.
I guess if he got kind of belligerent, I'd want you did.
Yeah, she can handle it. Believe you.
All right.
But then again, a wife is a defensive type of a mechanism. I mean, a husband. A husband would want to defend his wife. But what the hell is this going to do? Then you end up having a fisticuff with the guy and all that. No.
Hey, Dad,
intelligence is a good thing.
Hey, Dad, I'm taking some notes, and I wrote down a wife is a defensive type of mechanism.
Yeah, she can defend herself. It's not a defensive for a husband, but it's something like that. She could have said, "Hey, what the hell is your problem, man?"
Yeah, of course. Joanne, can I get you a T-shirt that says "I'm a defensive type of mechanism"?
There you go.
Okay. All right. That's good. I like it. I like it a
Well,
lot.
we got her cracking up.
Oh,
so
yeah.
That's different, you know.
Yeah, she's all. I get it. Yeah, for sure. Defense. All right. Now, Dad.
I mean, it's nothing that no one else has heard it.
Right on. I mean, she's heard it, and if she's a defensive type of mechanism, she can.
Yeah, I probably would jump in and say, "Hey, clean your act, man.
Yeah.
What the hell's your problem?"
There you go. There you go.
There you go.
I would do the same thing. Dean.
You know, really, you ain't gonna have a fisticuff over it.
No, but back in the day, you would. I remember back.
I would. I like to kick his butt.
Oh yeah, we've talked about it before. The drop of a hat, road rage king. My God.
Good saying.
I remember I was very young. One of my earliest memories are all based on traumatic incidents, and one in particular, I actually have a visual in my brain of the flashes of the images of at a gas station, and
oh my God,
you and some guy who either worked there or was another person getting gas got in.
No, it was a guy that pulled up in front of me
at the pump.
At the pump.
Yes. And you guys got into it, and then you quickly opened that car door right into him. And it's like, whammo. And then while that was going on, you told Mike or Paul to go get the rake or the broom, and they came.
No, he did it on his own. I didn't say that.
All right. I remember.
Paul got the broom.
Yes, so you could, and then it was like teamwork. So then he hands you the broom, and you started beating the guy.
I don't remember that one, but I remember having a fisticuff with him.
Oh yeah, it was good times. Good times.
I took my tie off.
Yes, you were
tore off and stepped outside.
You were a defensive type of mechanism, to be sure.
Yeah, well, hey, he was drunk. You know what? Punched him one time, he would go down.
Yep. Everybody's got a plan till you punch him in the nose.
Yes.
All right, Dad. Dean writes this. Dear Meathead, all of this talk about coronavirus, is this real or is it a media panic frenzy?
Well, I really believe it's real.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, being that age that I am, I'm very concerned about this. But of course, I'm not fist bumping with people. I still shake hands. Sometimes I remember not to do that. I'll do that. But it really is a concern of mine. When people are, unfortunately, as I hear this, elderly people are passing on quite a bit.
Yes.
But then again, it's available for anyone to take it, you know.
Well, yeah, it's and I just to maybe I don't know if you had heard of these numbers.
Yeah, but, really. I don't isolate myself in a home and sit home. I'm outdoors doing all kinds of things and shake hands with my neighbor and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a serious situation. I don't understand what it is that you look at a person and they get this disease, you know.
Yeah, well, Dad, what's interesting is there's about 1,000 confirmed cases in the U.S., and that will probably go up. But, the death rate is about 1.7%. And, for the common flu, it's 0.7%. So it's not that much higher. In fact, 20,000 people plus have died from the flu this year in the U.S., and 34 million have been infected with it. So isn't that as big or a bigger of a concern in how widespread that is as opposed to this thing?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It really is a serious situation. Well, being as old as I am, I'm already susceptible automatically to this thing for some reason or other. But I am in good shape, good health.
Uh-huh.
But then again, I could easily catch it, I guess.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that because I have equated this to the widespread coverage of it, to me, is lending to a fearful society that TV and the internet, if you post about it and talk about it, people, when they're scared, they view more. I think it's all kind of like tied into fear-mongering.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct.
But,
you really are.
But I still think we should be cautious about it. I just don't want people to have anxiety and keep them from doing things. You know, just wash your hands, take care of yourself, try not to touch your face.
I do that, but believe you me, I am concerned about it. I always tell my wife, honey, we ought to quit going to church because we shake everybody's hand and say hello and all that. But then again, how long can we stay away from church and God's Word, you know?
Yeah, go to church. Just don't shake hands. I'm going to do the same
And Joanne says the flu is worse.
Yes. Well, it's also bad. It's a little bit more of a chance of dying if you have coronavirus. But, you know, this is...
I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to die because I have such energy in me.
Yep. All right. Very good. Dad, I have another anonymous question for you, okay?
All right.
This person writes, I have a friend that's been married for 20-plus years. They have children at home.
God bless his heart.
Yeah, and it says the couple have trouble talking about money, and they always have trouble talking about money, and it always ends in a fight. And then he writes, when is it time to call it quits? Oh, my God. So apparently it's so bad that this scenario is where one of the people involved, this friend, is considering calling it quits. What do you think?
Well, quite frankly, I don't understand exactly what he's saying.
I think he's saying that
is there a lack of money in that household?
No, I think what he's saying is that they're always arguing about money, and since it's in a fight, it always ends in a fight. And when is it time to quit the relationship? What do you think? And then I have some thoughts.
That's not quite an adult type of thinking as far as quit the relationship because of money. If there isn't a lack of money, or is it one of them spending money frivolously?
Yeah, it doesn't say. It doesn't. I don't know if they have a lack of money or one or one of the parties is spending it more than the other. I'm not clear on that.
If it's a lack of money and there's adequate income coming in there and there's lack of money, someone is mischievously spending money, like for things that are really not worth having, but it is a desire.
Yeah.
They go ahead and buy it. Like I buy some trash once in a while that I really didn't need it, but I like to have it.
Uh-huh.
We don't know if that's the case. Then this person is not very clear to what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But fighting over money is not solving the situation to get rid of a marriage. It's about as stupid of a comment that I can understand.
Yeah, I don't understand.
I don't consider this as the person is stupid. No. Whatever this is, that this man has had it, and he's returning to the conversation of calling each other names and all that.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think that sometimes money problems lead to divorce. You hear about that, but it seems like it's only money, for God's sake. Your love and your relationship is the most important thing.
If the money is available, consider your blessing that you have the money. However, you don't have it because somebody is foolishly spending it.
Yeah.
Now, we've resorted to divorce is about the most ridiculous thing I've heard of.
And if you want to talk about having money problems, go ahead and get a divorce. And now that's money problems.
No. Resolve the situation and find out what's going on. Why?
Yeah.
This guy better give us a call back again because I want to hear more detail on this thing because I really have a good answer for him. But I can't give him that because I don't know what the situation is.
Now, Dad,
it's either money being spent foolishly or a lack of money. So one of the two.
Dad, when you got divorced, did you have a ton of money after the divorce?
I did not have a ton of money because whatever I had, I was paying in child support and trying to have a little bit of life and having some fun.
Yeah. Do you remember when now when your last child, me, turned 18, that's when you're done paying the child support, right?
Yeah, but that was not the issue. I never waited for that thing, but I was glad that a big weight was lifted off of my back. I'll tell you something, in divorces, when the law says you got to pay so much, and the husband always has to abide by it, and he doesn't have enough money to spend $5 extra, but he pays his child support. That's not a good life.
Right. All right, I got one more for you. This person, his wife, is wanting to start a side business. She's into crafting. She makes T-shirts, decorative signs. She's terrific, and she wants to start a small business. This young man writes, do you have any advice for starting up a small business, Dad?
Well, quite unfortunately, I can't really give any kind of advice on that area, but I can give you a common sense type of thing.
Uh-huh.
I think you should assist your wife as much as you can for the venture that she's taken on. That's a good idea. For all I know, it could be your own future. Participate in assisting her, encourage her.
Yeah.
If you think this is working out right, I'm sure it's working out right for the wife because she's really adamant in doing it, and she's good at it probably. Just encourage her and help her.
Sure thing. Have you ever, you had never ever floated the idea of starting your own business?
Not really, because I was too busy doing my own business.
Didn't you? Why don't you get back to making picture frames?
I did.
No.
I did, but I enjoy that. I still do that. I make beautiful picture frames.
Yeah.
And I don't even charge them except pay for the glass.
You can make one out of your thumbs.
Oh my God, yes. No, but now I have my neighbor do the cutting the board.
Uh-huh.
And I put it together.
Hey, have you had the urge to turn the saw back on since you healed up?
No, I have no desire for that.
Okay.
I have one different kind of saw, which is it doesn't involve anything.
Wait, what? Wait, what is that?
I have a saw that you got a handle on top. You bring it down onto the wood and cuts it. A reciprocal saw type of a thing.
You're using a reciprocal saw?
I haven't yet, but I will. I use a reciprocal saw to cut things off the tree branches.
Oh, I know.
That's not that. You only hold the end of it and pull the trigger. It's nothing to do with it.
Isn't that the thing that you used when you fell out of the tree up north?
Yeah, I
do. It always involves some type of saw that the injuries occur.
Well, you got to have something to cut it with. So,
I don't know, man.
This other one that did it, it really was not my doing. It was the saw that went crazy. It requires repairs.
All right. If you say so.
But anyway.
All right. You probably don't want to talk about that.
So.
Hey, listen. So on Sunday, Dad, the idea is, and I don't even know if I've talked at length about this on the podcast, but we're on right now, so we might as well promote it. We're going to do a live version of a Dear Meathead similar to what we did last year. Last year it was the same thing. We were at Mike's house celebrating your birthday, and we brought microphones and we put the camera on, and we had a good time talking to you. Do you want to do that? Is that okay if we do that again?
Yeah, you mentioned that. I like that. And I like the fact that your son is going to be there.
Yeah, Jim.
As he participates in that.
Yeah, he was at the last one. That was when he was taking notes, and he went back and reviewed some of the high points of the things you said. That was all. It was a lot of fun.
And let me tell you something about your son.
Yeah.
I am so proud of him when he talks. Man, this guy has got a talking talent.
He does have a talking talent, yes.
He should really put it to use of radio announcing or something, you know.
I know it. I think he would be an excellent talk show host.
I think you should apply for somebody to hear him first.
I think that
really.
You know what I should do? I should invite him on my podcast regularly and pay him, you know? He could be
whatever. This guy has got a talent.
He could be my co-host. And you see, the thing is, I don't work well with other people because I usually I just don't get along with them. It's very rare that I get along with anyone in this setting.
Well, you're doing a good job with me.
Well, yeah, with you, but that's what I'm saying. I think with you and with him, I think I would be able to pull it off. But I typically struggle. So I think with him it might work. So I might have to look no further than him because he's got it. He has the gift.
He does it, yes. I think I know what your problem is. Your problem is that you don't want to see anybody else taking over your project.
It might have something to do with it. Yeah, I just hate it. I like short conversations. I get impatient. I generally don't like people when they're when they're in here. But what the hell, you know? At the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do.
Just like this situation, I shut up and let you talk. You know.
Well, you're awesome.
That's what happens there. That's a good thing.
All right. Well, this has been another spectacular little adventure.
Yes, it has.
Yeah, I'll talk to you. Today's Wednesday that we're doing this, so I'll see you on Sunday.
Hey, I'm looking forward to having the whole family together. Not the whole, but good part of them.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have...
it's always a great thing.
Jim, Jack, Maddie's Jackie's boyfriend, Justin, Diana. I wish that Aubrey and the grandkids could go, but I don't think that that's going to happen.
Well, I think that area is a pretty small area. You get any more people.
We'll be packed. All right. Okay. Well, I'll talk to you guys. Joanne, I love you.
All right. I love the conversation. Love your family. Love you. And we'll look forward for the party coming up.
Okay, Dad. I'll talk to you down the road. Thank you.
Love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye-bye. There we go. As always, another spectacular adventure of Dad on Deer Meathead. Man, is that fun. Can't get enough of them. All right. Where are we here? All right. Spent significant time talking to Dad. We're looking at $130 in. Oh, Jesus, we are just killing it today. Plenty of people still watching. Shelly says, we want to surprise him. Give us the address. Tom says the truth comes out. I think he's referring to me, saying I don't like working with people. Now, what I mean by that is I get on a roll, and I don't like anything to get in the way of that. And when I get distracted, that's what I mean. It isn't so much, I kind of misspoke. It isn't so much that I don't like people. I like a lot of people. But it's just, oh boy. I do just fine without anybody in here. But Jim, on the other hand, he's got something. So, at some point, I think against my instincts telling me just go ahead and hog the mic, I think at some point somebody needs to be in here. But I am not going to rush into this by any stretch. The last thing you want to do is bring somebody in here, commit to them, because I've lived this, and it's not the right fit. And then you end up like, oh, fuck, now I'm stuck. So that's kind of what I mean by that. Thank you, Horizon Hydroponics. If you're growing anything indoors through the method of hydroponics, which is the budding process without soil, okay, I want you to consider getting everything you need at Horizon Hydroponics. HORIZEN. HorizonHydroponics.com. 4 locations. You got one in Kalamazoo. You got one in Lansing. You got Grand Rapids on Alpine, which is right near Franco's Pizza. FrancosGR.com. And then the Growers Outlet in Byron Center. Now, whatever you might be growing. A lot of people do garden inside. They actually grow vegetables and whatever it may be indoors. But make no mistake, I know what you people want to grow. You want to grow cannabis. They're well aware of that, and they have everything you need to make this process awesome. So you can grow big, beautiful buds indoors like we can do in our terrific almost live free or die state. The fact that you can do this, okay? You don't need to go to some place off the beaten path to buy your recreational cannabis. You can grow it as much as you want. You can get good at it, all right? And then you can have your friends come over. They see your elaborate setup with your tents and your lights and your awesomeness, and it smells crazy, ridiculous inside of that room. Oh, my God. It's a little aromatic. It's a little pungent, I'm not going to lie. Now, I don't know the first thing about growing cannabis, but they do. If I wanted to get started on it, they'd be able to walk me through that process. Okay? So if you're really into that, that's what you do, man. Forget going and buying it someplace. Just do it on your own and you become an expert. Thank you to Horizon Hydroponics. You can shop online and they can deliver everything you want, or you can buy it and pick it up in store if you want, or just go into the store and buy it. They're awesome. Great group of people, extremely friendly, extremely knowledgeable. This is one of those places where you go there and it isn't just somebody selling you something. That's the best type of local business, okay? Like when you go in there and they can tell you everything about. That's why I love the local hardware store, like at Baldwin Ace Hardware. They're all experts. They all are DIY queens and kings. And then of course there is I reposted the sign with new tape, A&E Heating and Cooling, 616-516-8579. I need to rearrange the signs around here. Just move them. It just, it keeps you on your toes. Joe's got a humidifier he's going to sell you for only $515, if you are a Zane Show podcast listener. If you don't listen, that's $615. If you get a furnace installed, end of winter, get it installed now. He's going to give you the humidifier for free. No matter what you hire him for, you're going to get 15% off if you're active or retired military or a senior citizen. So if you're doing something for your folks, call on Joe and mention me. You're going to save 15%. Thank you to Joe. I think it's about time for a new sale, Joe. We're going to get back to the tune-ups this time. I think you're about due for a new campaign. I'll have to check the schedule. That means you'll get a bill, you bastard. 616-516-8579. Put some coin in his pockets so that he can buy new hockey jerseys. By the way, Kenny, this is going to be done late today, as you know. So when I start that Patreon bonus, I don't want to see, finally, hell, I'll be giving you upwards of nearly 2 hours of material by the time this is done. One of the things that dude who was extremely butthurt on the Jason from the LMNO podcast talked about, man, was he pissed. God dang it. I actually, you know what happened? He was so pissed about what I thought was a joke. I alluded to it earlier in the podcast. And what the intention was, and I'll say it again just in case you missed it, the intention was to start like a wrestling work between the shows, which would then help each other listen. So, and it started out okay. And then some of you, like Frank, posted, hey, man, I just listened to him. Holy shit, he blew you up. That's what the goal was. But he really, really was seriously going for it and cutting. I mean, he blew me up like with an atom bomb. So I'm out. I don't want to participate anymore because I don't want to fuck him up. I actually said to Stu, I go, well, I gotta call and tell this guy I didn't mean anything by it and that I'm sorry. And Stu was like, he doesn't want to talk. I'm like, what? All right, well, fuck it then. I don't give a shit now. If that's the way he wants to be about it. I mean, fuck it. He was like, and then there's so many ads. Dude, the fuck? First of all, this is what I do for a living. And I typically go 15, 20 minutes of content before I drop ads in. And then there are 1 or 2 ads, sometimes 3. If you listen to any show for 2 hours on the radio, you are going to hear, let's see, I would say 21 minutes of non-content. And that is traffic, fucking ads, mostly ads. 39 minutes is what you get of content in a 60-minute window, usually. Most radio shows, if they're worth anything. So don't you dare give me any degree of shit over the amount of sponsors I have on this show. That is how this fucking podcast remains free, okay? if it weren't for these amazing people that I pitched to you, and hopefully you will engage, we're out. There is no podcast. Okay? I'm fortunate enough to have a footprint where I can actually get people on this podcast and pitch them to you, and you've engaged them. That's the only reason why I'm in business. So, fuck off. All right. Corey Feldman, man. I talked about this Monday. Wait a minute. When was it? Yeah, it was Monday. That he, Monday night, 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern time. His movie is called, let's see, Truth or some shit like My Truth, The Rape of Two Coreys. Ugh, not exactly a catchy title. He shopped this thing, Feldman, did do all of the festivals. Nobody wanted it. He shopped it to all the streaming services. Everybody said, fuck you, we're not doing it. Feldman's like, I don't know what to do, man. Now, he's a weirdo. He is completely obliterated. There's no question. Maybe this is what happens when terrible things happen to you. This is what happens to child actors. They get fucked up, okay? And he's one of them. And so I'm not saying that this didn't happen to him. I have no idea. I'm just saying he's nuts. Feldman decides, all right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a screening at a theater, and then I'm going to post it on my website, and I'm going to stream it on my own with my own servers. And if people want in, it's $20 a month. Now, that's great, and that's what you should do. I mean, because that is another example of how the internet lets you do shit like that and have a platform. That's not that hard to do. But things went south on this, and he is claiming that his website was hacked by unscrupulous people that want to bring him down. I have no idea if that's true. It sounds crazy, but who knows? I mean, maybe on a day where Harvey Weinstein is going to be sentenced today for his criminal activity, I have no reason to think that he is lying about any of this. And Hollywood people are the shittiest of people on the planet. There are as many scumbags in Hollywood as there are in other terrible businesses, okay? And some of the worst people on the planet work in Hollywood. That is true. So he has this film, and in the film, and I think it is a little weird that he charges people $20 a view, and he has this big premiere, and all it is he's going to announce who raped Corey Haim. Now, I'm pretty sure that Feldman has said he wasn't physically raped. He was, as he puts it, his words, emotionally raped. All right. I'm just throwing that out there. But he says that Haim was raped by some giant in the movie industry. And this big reveal takes place, and I think it is strange that he's charging the world to do that. I mean, if you really were concerned and really wanted to do something, you would just come out and say it, right? But he is doing it for profit. So I think that kind of might have something to do with why the credibility factor is quite low here. He said in the film that Charlie Sheen raped Corey Haim. Apparently he had some concern about being sued. He made an announcement to the crowd, I'm going to be sued. Can you please support me with cash? There's numerous famous people in there. Let me back up a little bit here. The Los Angeles Times article talks about this. It says, now 10 years after Corey Haim's death, Feldman was ready to publicly call out the alleged predators in his documentary, My Truth, The Rape of Two Coreys. The film, Feldman said, had been rejected by all the theatrical distributors, so he did it, released it in the way we talked about. On behalf of the documentary, screened at the Directors Guild of America's headquarters in L.A. At 8 p.m., the film was supposed to start streaming online. It didn't. 10 minutes after the movie starts, in the room, Feldman's running down the aisle saying, "Stop, stop," like a lunatic. He's raving. 10 minutes, that was into the tech. It says here, after 10 minutes until the technical issues were resolved, but they never were. Quote, "I'd love to say this was all a big act, but it's not. It's real," Feldman told the crowd inside the theater where he and his team stood on stage, frantically trying to figure out how to proceed. Fuck, just put it on Facebook Live. In the projection room, one of the film's producers was on the phone with the digital provider trying to find out why the film wasn't streaming. Feldman asked his producer to do what I do when I put phone calls on the podcast and hold the phone up to the mic to play it for the crowd inside of the theater to prove that this... He's like trying to prove to them that the shit is going poorly. He then claimed hackers were doing it, trying to prevent the stream from airing. God, this is terrible. As he mulled his options, the room began to grow restless. Rosanna Arquette, who I guess I've seen that name. I guess she's related to that's a famous name in the movie industry. I guess Arquette. I don't know. Who was seated alongside the likes of Patricia Richardson, Dave Navarro. Is that the dude from Nirvana? Let me check with the staff. If that's the case, that's weird. Wasn't he the bass player from Nirvana? No, he was with the Red Hot Chili Peppers, right? No, Jane's Addiction. I'm getting it all wrong. He's a weirdo, too. Wasn't he in Led Zeppelin? Dave Navarro. I remember him from the Monkees. Shit, yeah, that writing tandem of John Lennon, Paul McCartney, and Dave Navarro. Dave Navarro, Chris Kattan, and Jamie Kennedy, who was on this podcast before he canceled his shows at Back Alley Comedy Club. They all urged Corey to move forward. Boy, star-studded event right there. Rosanna Arquette says, "We got to do it," Feldman said. "I want you all to back me when I get sued." I think he's assuming when I get sued by people who paid the $20. Or maybe he's referring to Charlie Sheen's people. While the online screening was ultimately canceled, the one at the DGA did continue. On Tuesday morning, Feldman was already apologizing for the failed online event. Of course it went this way. And pointing fingers in all caps. "I give you my personal guarantee that everyone will get to see the film, even if I have to burn DVDs and send them to each of you. Nothing will keep #MyTruthDoc from coming out. This is insane. Please pray for us." In the movie, Feldman discloses details about the sexual abuse he suffered as a child. He also alleges that Haim faced similar abuse, most notably at the hands of Charlie Sheen. Haim was 13 when he met Sheen, who was 19 at the time, on the set of the 1985 film Lucas. Quote, "This wasn't like a one-time thing," Haim said in passing. "It wasn't like, oh, by the way, this happened." He went into great detail, Feldman says in the movie. "He told me, Charlie bent..." Ooh, gross. Oh, this is horrible. I'm going to read it. "Charlie bent me over in between two trailers and put Crisco oil on my butt and raped me in broad daylight." Anybody could have walked by. Anybody could have seen it. Well, there's no need for a joke there. "Charlie bent me over in between two trailers and put Crisco oil on my butt." Whoa. That sounds terrible. Quote, "These sick, twisted, and outlandish allegations never occurred, period." Sheen's publicist has released this statement. Let me back up. Sheen's publicist released a statement to the LA Times on Tuesday morning. "These sick, twisted, and outlandish allegations never occurred, period," Sheen said. "I would urge everyone to consider the source and read what his mother, Judy Haim, has to say." Judy Haim has for years asserted that he was not sexually abused by Sheen. In a 2017 interview on the Dr. Oz show, she told the host that she didn't see one change in character in her son after he filmed Lucas. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. I would have known if anything was wrong. My kid hid nothing. He was like transparent. He never hid anything. He was Corey. It's out of character. That's number one, she told Oz. When my son was 13, he's not going to go and ask Charlie Sheen to go and sleep with him. Sheen, who has not had a major acting role since the 2017 flop 9/11, has long maintained that he never assaulted Haim. In 2017, after the National Enquirer published a story claiming Sheen and Haim smoked pot and had anal sex, the actor told The Hollywood Reporter that he categorically denied the allegation. So it was kind of out there to begin with. That's probably why this thing never really got legs and doesn't have all the sizzle to it or a ton of credibility. I'll link it up. You can look at the rest of it, but I think it kind of dies there. Haim's an odd duck, or I should say Feldman. Haim's dead. Feldman is an odd dude. Hell, he looks kind of like Michael Jackson nowadays, if you see him. He wears like these weirdo clothes, and his skin is like translucent and pale and gross. It's all fucked up. All right. You can check that out on your own. But that's it. He says Charlie Sheen. And Dave Navarro is from Jane's Addiction, if you know that. I want to read to you an email from a friend of mine. I'm going to kind of keep I'll keep it relatively anonymous. This has to do with all of the up and downs with the market. Some people, that are panicking about this. This person writes this. His name is Mark. As you know, I send general market updates and comments sparingly so as not to overwhelm. I thought my comments today are timely. I hope you agree. As always, they are general in nature, not specific to any one client or circumstance. As you might imagine, I've received more than a few calls inquiring about the merits of our either repositioning or a current plan or, in extreme cases, actually liquidating a portfolio. However one chooses to characterize either of these actions, they are defined as market timing. And I wanted to let you know my feelings on that strategy and give a real-world example as to why market timing is not, nor has it ever been, a suitable or prudent action. Basically, what he's going to get at here is, let me do my fucking job. I know what I'm doing. You don't. That's why you hired me, to take care of your meager portfolio. During times like these, I suppose it's natural to ask, can't we move out of stocks and our bonds until the coronavirus settles down? Or let's just sell everything and wait this out. And then once the dust settles and the coast is clear, we can, rethrow it back into, reinvest our money. That may sound like an appropriate idea and perhaps give an investor momentary comfort. After all, it is reasoned. Then you would ideally only have money invested while markets are rising and miss most of the declines. First, and probably most obvious, if this, as you describe it, market timing worked or even could work, I and others who do what I do would do it. Said another way, selling everything and eventually getting back in does not work. All right? I'm telling you this because you and I, with our little tiny nest eggs that we try to save up to make the world go round for when we get old, if you panic and do this shit, you're contributing to the problem. Okay? Let these guys do what you hired them to do. He continues, there are no all clear bells that ring or any other signals. You'll never know when the dust has settled other than in retrospect. And when the smoke has cleared, stocks will no longer be at their lows. They will have historically already rallied furiously in anticipation. Here is the real-world examples of the flaws associated with the nonsense of market timing and why I don't recommend it for you. And I'm telling you, if you're in this boat, you who's listening to this. This past March 9th was an anniversary. Precisely 11 years ago, on March 9th, 2009, in the midst of the greatest market decline since the Great Depression, the stock market stopped going down. There was no discernible reason. It did so without any bells or signals or any sort of official announcement. If you had polled investors that day, week, or even month, most would not have agreed that we had seen the worst. They went to work at that day. We're like, it's going to be another shitty day of answering phone calls from pissed off people. It just stopped. Most felt stocks were going even lower as economic headlines were not improving. Conditions were still terribly negative in the United States and, in fact, across the world. But on March 9th, 2009, just over that many years ago, what is it? We're just past March 9th, 2020, so 11 years ago, right? The market started its recovery on that day. By June 1st, less than 90 days later, the market climbed 41% from the March 9th low. If you had liquidated your portfolio to cash, you missed that 41% recovery. Since there were no signals that the market was going to turn in order to realize that recovery, you would have had to be fully invested in your well-designed investment plan. Basically, staying put like you're supposed to. Unfortunately, even with that sharp move up, the majority of investors still weren't comfortable that we had, in fact, seen the worst. I can assure you that even today, there are investors that remain in cash since that day in 2009, paralyzed by fear. And the recovery in the S&P 500 from that day in March of 2009 to today has grown. That 41% gain in the first 90 days in 2009 as of today has grown 321%. Those fucking morons in the Stone Age are sitting there with their literal mattress full of money with their peckers in their hand, and they missed out because they're stupid and full of fear, you idiot. Hold on, email cut off. Being a long-term investor is hard. It requires faith and optimism. At the precise times, those attributes are most difficult to summon. But by remaining invested and committed and not freaking out, I'm adding that, we have been richly rewarded for that behavior in the past. I have no doubt we will be this time as well. Hang in there. This too shall pass. Word of advice in these odd times from a close friend of mine who I trust. Now, whether you have $5,000 saved away or $10,000 or $100,000 or $100 million, relax. Go about your day. Have sex with your wife. Pet your dog. Talk about Dave Navarro and his catalog of music with the band Boston. But stop freaking out about this shit. Stop worrying about the coronavirus. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. That's all you got to do. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Maybe don't shake hands. I don't know. But don't panic about it. Don't freak out about it. Lay low. You're going to be fine. On the Patreon, there is a story I want to talk about clickbait. There is a clickbait story going around that a lot of you have fallen for, and you've sent it to me with a, can you believe this story, Zane? You got to talk about this shit on the podcast. Well, I'm going to. I'm going to talk about how you're falling for clickbait. And I'm also going to talk about the shit ton of trouble that conspiracy asshole Alex Jones is in. This guy's a freaking moron. I take it back. He's not a moron. He's actually pretty damn smart, but he's in some deep, deep shit. He's the conspiracy theorist who has claimed various nonsense things like Sandy Hook was a hoax, which I just hate that happened. I hate that he did that. I can't stand him. It bothers me that Joe Rogan and him are friends because Joe Rogan has this air of sensibility about him. A lot of people trust Joe Rogan, but to me, that's a mark against him that he's like pals with this piece of shit. Kind of bothers me. All right. God, now it's in my head about my sponsors because of Jason's fucking rant on Stu's podcast. Which, frankly, I don't even want to talk about Stu's podcast anymore because of how over the top that fucking guy went on the whole deal. It really pissed me off. Fucking A. You did it. You won. Congratulations. Terrytown RV in beautiful Byron Center, Michigan. They are on Division between 68th and 76th Street. They sell travel trailers, fifth wheels, pop-up campers, motorhomes, you name it. Class A diesel, Class A gas, Class C. They got them all. I suggest you start little if you're a new family. Get yourself a small little deal that you can take all around our great state and beyond. That's not going to set you back much money at all. Then when you outgrow that thing, step up. You're earning more money as you grow, as you age. Then you kind of upgrade. TerrytownRV.com is their website. You can shop online. If there's one you like, just click call me. They'll call you right away. Or shop in person. The weather's starting to change. You can do it outdoors. You can do it indoors. They've got 200 units indoors. It's the largest in the country. They have an RV show every single day of the year in their indoor facility. Call upon me to break the ice and show you around. I'll give you a tour of the place. Reach out to me, Eric at ericzaneshow.com, for my terrific sponsor, Terrytown RV. Thank you to them. Like them on Facebook and check them out. Division between 68th and 76th. Thank you. Last but certainly not least, how about the Saranac shit kickers? We're talking about JM Synthetics. JM Synthetics, Jason is the distributor of AMSOIL. They created synthetic motor oil, and that goes in everything that has a motor. JM Synthetics, call Jason at 616-747-0233 or go to his website. Now, it's a long website, jmsynthetics.myamsoil.com, but the easy way is just on the lower sponsor scroll. Click on his logo there, his icon, and then it'll take you right to his page. All sorts of products there for the auto, light truck, motorcycle, ATV, UTV, snowmobile, marine outboard, personal watercraft, small engine, heavy duty, synthetic gear lube. My God. Get free shipping. You save up to 25% on every order. He's got a special, too, for Zane Show podcast listeners. Indicate that. He'll throw in a fuel additive for every order over $100. Engine degreaser, okay? And you can very easily spend more than $100 with him. It's so easy to do that because, let's face it, the cost of oil is expensive. And this is the best. They created synthetic motor oil. Thank you to JM Synthetics for being on board with the show. My God, this has been, I'm pretty sure, the longest podcast we have ever done in the history of the Eric Zane Show podcast. If not, it's right up there. And it's all because of you supporting the show. We've really gotten some great momentum as time has passed. I'm not going to lie. I tell this to people all the time about this podcast. Doing what I do, it was a process to actually be able to conduct this in a manner that is constantly moving and evolving. Because the kiss of death on any podcast when you're talking and you're alone is pauses and not knowing what the fuck you're doing. And just, it's a real fatiguing, awkward, anxiety-filled catastrophe. We've lived that together. You've watched a show, you've listened to a show where you're like, oh, shit, is he in the weeds? Trust me, I know. But because of your patience, my confidence has built up over time, and that has allowed me to improve and try to find another gear. And every day is that gets easier and easier and easier. And I owe it all to you for your patience. So if you could spread the word about the Eric Zane Show podcast, maybe somebody who doesn't listen anymore, they could come back to the pack. I would love them for that, and that would be so cool. I heard the music for My Corona. John sent it through the phone. We're getting close. And Jimmy in Maine wants to sing it. John wants me to sing it, but I can't sing, so what the fuck? I'm gonna make Jimmy in Maine have a shot at it. All right, folks, thank you so much for being part of the Eric Zane Show podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it. We'll do it again tomorrow. I'm on Patreon too, patreon.com/Eric Zane for more podcasting today. If you like the freebies, support me on Patreon. Helps keep the lights on. That's a commercial for myself. Thanks, folks. And remember,
And don't nobody want their child to be sick. And don't nobody want to take that virus to their house. And I wipe my children backpack down when I got them out of school. Sure did. Gave them gloves. Sure did.
You're full of shit.
And don't nobody want their child to be sick.
Get out!
And I wipe my children backpack down when I got them out of school. Sure did. Gave them gloves. Sure did.
What's that?
You look so amazing in that sundress. Come on down.